It feels like a dream, I think. Feels very unbelievable almost. It's kind of like, when you're in the process, you don't fully believe everything about yourself. I'm selling myself and I'm like, I may not fully believe that, or I'm talking very confidently, but I may not fully believe it. And then I've gotten to this point and I'm like, no, I do believe it. I do now, and I feel very grounded in that way of myself. I feel like I've never known myself better than at this moment right now.
This is The Growth Moment with your coach, Amy Kay. Inspiration, ideas, and incredible insights for you to be more and do more. Get ready to grow today. As a growth and leadership coach, I work with many high achievers. People familiar with the climb to the mountaintop, the striving, pushing, often relentless pursuit of their next level. You might be an aggressive climber or prefer a more relaxed and gradual ascent. You might have just hit a goal or milestone or are in the midst of identifying your next mountain and how to make the climb. I'm here to remind you that a vital component of success is pausing at the top to take a big breath, reflect on the journey, and celebrate that you are here. It's the celebration and reflection that enables you to fully own who you be now, and then to drive your focus and execution for the next goal. Your mountaintop might be a long coveted promotion, a graduation, a move to a new city or out to the country that you've dreamed about for years, getting married, launching a business, starting a family, publishing a book, qualifying for a tournament, speaking at a conference. The list goes on, and only you know what achievement means the most to you. For my guest, Kelly, the mountaintop is an incredible new job that she just landed and started. Kelly is a solutions engineer, rising through the ranks as a woman of color in high tech. She is ambitious, highly intelligent, driven with a keen desire to create impact for her clients, team, and company, and to give back and help other women and underrepresented communities claim their place in the technology world. Thrilled, but almost a bit stunned that she did it. She's here, exactly where she wanted to be, and now it's time to focus and execute on this big opportunity. Kelly and I take time for her to celebrate so she can catch up to the moment, reflect on and integrate everything that got her to this new reality, all so she can move forward into her next achievement. This is a more thoughtful episode, less straight on coaching. Hopefully, you will feel the space for Kelly to reflect, tell a few stories, hear herself, clarify lessons learned, and affirm her growth. I want you to take a look. Is it time for you to celebrate and reflect on one of your milestones or achievements? Or is it time to grab some of your own lessons learned and gear up for your next goal, the mountain ahead of you? Listen for the insights and wisdom that you need today as we jump in right after I ask Kelly what she wants to coach on.
I love the idea of kind of celebrating and everything that it took to get to this part in this moment. And then the second part is really about what I talked with you earlier this week about focus and execution. And now it's kind of like I'm a little like kind of in shock still of like, oh my gosh, I'm finally here. And now I just need to execute, deliver.
Now I need to deliver on the great value that I
Yeah.
promised.
Yes. Exactly. I've sold myself so well. Now I have to put my money where my mouth is.
So, Kelly, take a breath. Just take a deep breath.
Okay.
Here you are at the moment. You have achieved what you set out to do. What's that like to have kind of gotten to the top of the mountain, even though there's more mountains out there? What's that like?
It feels surreal. Like I've been climbing to the top of the mountain and now that I'm here, it's I didn't know what it was going to look like. And it's scary, but in a good way. And now it's kind of like I have to get back down almost in some way. And um, yeah, it's good. I'm still in shock, like I said. It feels very surreal, I think. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in my life too that a lot of change.
But a lot of achievements, really, personally, professionally.
Mhm.
And so take a moment to make the surreal more real. What do you notice before we go down and you go down and start working really hard to go up another mountain? What does it mean to you to have gotten this new job, this promotion, this recognition and acknowledgement of your value?
Hmm. How does that feel? It feels like a dream, I think. It feels very unbelievable almost. It's kind of like, when you're in the process, you don't fully believe everything about yourself. I'm selling myself and I'm like, I may not fully believe that, or I'm talking very confidently, but I may not fully believe it. And then I've gotten to this point and I'm like, no, I do believe it. I do now. And I feel very grounded in that way of myself. I feel like I've never known myself better than at this moment right now. And it's extremely, like, I just feel so grateful. And there were so many people like you that helped me get here and, helped me set out what I wanted to achieve. And now that I'm here, it's like, wow, I'm in, again, this state of disbelief, but also, I don't think myself a lot, but
But I'm hearing it, but the disbelief, but belief too, and the grounded part.
yeah.
And so here's something that's popping in my head is if you could go back and talk to, young Kelly, who's just out of school, or Kelly even, I don't know, 2, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
what would you tell her?
Keep going. I think I would tell my younger self that you have a lot of growth ahead of you and to keep going and it will all be worth it. It will all be worth it. Yeah, I think a lot of it is more I'm learning as I get older to have more self-compassion for myself. I think we are our own worst critics and we are the hardest on ourselves and sometimes our loved ones, the ones that are closest to us. And
Yes, definitely.
to be more kind to myself that I will get there, I will grow. And it's not necessarily about achieving, but, about the inner growth. And I'm very proud of myself. It feels like it took a lot to get here.
And could you, again, it's such an important part of coaching to not always just be setting the next goal and working hard, but to own the accomplishment, to celebrate the
Yes.
growth. So
Yeah.
tell me some of what you're proud of in yourself. And no editing, Kelly, no holding back or false like go ahead and speak to who you be now.
Well, I'm proud of myself. Well, what you were asking me, like, which parts am I most proud of?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, I think interviewing and going through rounds and rounds of interviewing and not caring about what if I had passed. I mean, I obviously cared if I did well in the interview or not, but I think the most important part is did I feel like I did well for myself versus having some other person, decide whether I'm the right fit for this role. And it took a lot of confidence and also trusting of myself to know, hey, if that didn't go well and this interview doesn't go well, that's okay. The right role is out for me.
So hence that self-compassion,
Yes.
the permission almost.
Yes. Permission, self-compassion, but it's almost believing in yourself and not caring. I'm a people pleaser. I want everyone to like me and a lot of women face this. I think one woman called it the disease to please.
Mhm.
And I've let go of a lot of that. And I think interviews constantly test you and battle you over and over. And I think I'm really proud of myself for knowing that, hey, if I didn't get that one, because I didn't get every single job that I applied for, knowing that the right one will come and the right team and manager will value exactly what I bring. And if they didn't, decide to go with me, then someone else was better for that role. And it has nothing to do with my skill set or what I can bring to the table or anything like that. It's just about the right fit. So,
So, God, Kelly, that's such a huge growth shift, right?
yeah.
That is the move from, again, external validation to internal knowing and belief. And then that it almost feels that you in this process really zoomed out to the bigger picture, the bigger meaning of things, of seeing things from more of a collaboration fit type of activity in a interviewing versus will I be picked? Did I win the role
Yeah.
in the play?
Yeah.
That's a lot of maturity.
It is, and it took a lot for me to get there, especially being a woman of color in the tech space where there are not a lot of us, and constantly fighting these feelings of imposter syndrome, and also always being the only in a lot of customer meetings or team meetings and things like that. And
How are you starting to own that now instead of like, oh, I can't believe I'm the only? Is there any shift there of like, hey, here
mm,
I am? Or is that a future growth area? Let's pause. Notice how I slowed Kelly down, not rushing into her next round of focus and tasks. The coaching is all about making the surreal real, literally catching up to the current moment. I love how the wisdom just poured right out. Kelly recognizing how much inner growth has taken place, cementing her new, bigger self. It's a precious moment when disbelief becomes belief. Right now, what are you proud of? Who are you now? Whether or not you've done something big or small, no editing or holding back. I invite you to speak it out loud. How would you encourage your younger self? Where are you growing in your perspective, wisdom, maturity? Remember, maturation takes place our whole life long. We're never done. So don't take your growth for granted. Acknowledge your lessons learned at this moment in your life. As we go back to Kelly, she continues to reflect, celebrating each lesson, skill, and insight.
it goes back to self-compassion. It's kind of like I've again, as I've gotten older, I've realized how helpful meditation is for me. And one of the current things I'm struggling with is focusing. And one of the things they say about meditating is that it's okay if you lose focus, just note it and move on and come back. And so I feel like I've just paid a lot more attention to myself and how I feel in certain meetings and say, what's that feeling? And it's like, yeah, I feel like I'm unqualified. I feel like I don't fit in here. And then I just say, that's great that you've noticed that and that you feel that. But here's four other examples of why you belong in this room.
Oh, beautiful.
And then I say, okay, moving on. It took a lot of reframing certain horrible thoughts in my head and then replacing them with, but wait, I got the highest technical certification that you can get for that product. And I've done a keynote in front of 10,000 people before. You have earned your place here. And so it's, again, a lot of noting, okay, that is why I'm feeling that. And then saying, but wait, is that the truth?
Is there another view here? Is there another
Yes.
way to look at this?
Yeah.
So Kelly, I want you to feel that skill, that ability almost to right size something. And then I'm so struck by your ability to hear one voice and then bring in the rest of the truth, the rest of reality, and rebalance, reframe, as you say.
Yeah. The most important, I think I was reading something, the most important voice that you'll ever hear is your own when you talk to yourself and in your thoughts, and how we are all products of the story that we come up with in our head of ourselves. And, I read those things And then I'm like, oh, that's so cheesy. Of course, everyone should be kinder to yourself. But then
Right. But now you're seeing it's not just pop psychology. This is real.
it is absolutely real. And if you are not kind to yourself, then it will show up in other ways. And learning to tame that voice and reframe it into a positive way or challenge that voice and say, is that actually true?
No.
It's like a conscious effort that you work on every day and it gets better and better. And, you feel more sure about yourself. And I've learned this word a little bit more. I would say I'm not fully there, but one of my mentors said the word conviction.
Ooh. Say more.
Yeah. Well, first of all, again, back to interviewing, like just one of the worst things apart from like moving houses, right? Is interviewing. I feel like it's not because you're just naked and you're putting yourself out there up for this rejection. It's almost like worse than dating.
Right.
Because I'm like, these people have seen my full credentials. Like, at least on a date, it's like you may never see that person again, or
Right.
you
Right.
can't take it as personally. But interviewing, there's a lot that you could take personally if you don't, have if you feed the bad wolf, right?
Even right during the interview, how important it is to control that.
Exactly. And I'm a solutions engineer, which means that I'm in technical sales. And one of the most important parts about sales and selling to customers is like a trick, right? The trick is believe what you're actually selling and what you're actually saying. If
Mm.
you do not believe that our solution or our product or our process will help you, and if you don't believe it, your customers never will.
It comes right out. It
It
exudes
does. And
from your body language, your affect, everything.
everything, people can smell it a mile away when you're not being authentic or true to yourself.
So Kelly, say more in this whole process of getting this next level career leap. Where does that believing in yourself, not just the kindness, not but the truly believing, I am who I say I am. I am all of these things. Where does that come in?
I am all of these things. I think it takes a lot. I mean, I have a great support network when I need them and I'm not feeling like sure about myself, but it's kind of the
It
constant
helps build the conviction.
build the conviction, but also, you're so good about this. Like when I worked with you, it was like 30 minutes a week that you're putting towards yourself. What kinds of things out of your day are you doing for yourself? Does your calendar own you? Can you take 10 minutes to listen to your favorite song or a meditation or go for a run and like fill those things that bring you joy and me joy and really hunting for those.
What really hits me with that is not just that's beyond self compassion. That's about pleasing, people pleasing, but Kelly pleasing.
Yes, yes. And if you can feel those buckets of what I need, what my needs are, what makes me happy, and taking, again, 30 minutes out of a week for yourself, or even 10 minutes or 5 minutes a day, I felt like I could be more connected with what I want, with what my needs are, what will make me happy. And, I think it really started when I was working with you that I realized that I wanted a change in my life. I didn't know what it was, but I just felt like I'm not happy in this moment and I want something to change. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my job. I don't know if it's my company. I don't know if it's where I'm living. I don't know if it's my country. I was living in London when I met you.
Yes.
And, there was just this like, ugh, there's something that I want to change and I don't know what it is. But
So, what was that? I mean, that pleasing yourself, doing things that were authentic, being closer to yourself, taking those 30 minutes. And I'm hearing you started to listen to yourself. In this reflection, you can start to see the seeds for the future growth, the lessons and skills most needed moving forward. For Kelly, it's the self compassion, ability to right size or reframe her perspective, looking at the whole truth, definitely not letting imposter syndrome take hold, And then that piece on the importance of conviction and believing in herself. I'm struck by the insight on how necessary it is to take time for and with yourself. How it's this commitment to self that helps build belief and conviction. Pleasing yourself, not just others, hunting for your joy so you can be more connected with what you want and when it's time for a change, the next goal, the right goal for you. Jot down whatever is striking you the most today. What will it take to build belief and conviction in you? The lessons you need to hold on to in order to tackle your next goal. Okay, now back to Kelly. After I commented on when she made the shift in her life to really listening to herself, and she reflects more on the importance of her inner knowing.
I just read Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and she talks about that inner knowing and like listening to yourself and just like sometimes just sitting in it and getting uncomfortable and sit deep in it. And now I'm not very like I can't sit and meditate for probably more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, you and me both. I can't get past 60 seconds, but
Yeah, but there are certain things that cause you to do that. Like, for example, one of my best friends who's a triathlete, right, that loves to swim or run or bike. And that's kind of like, you know, your own meditation or your own time for yourself. But if you cannot prioritize time for yourself and your needs, then someone else will.
oh boy.
It's just sad. And, you know, I came from a consulting background before, right after I got out of college, and just learned that so much the hard way, right? Where,
If you don't lead your life, lead your career, someone else absolutely will and will have plenty of things they'd like you to do. And you follow around like a little puppy.
yeah,
Sure, I'll do that. Sure, I'll do that.
and I completely agree. And I learned it the hard way many times. Well, one was burnout. That was like a physical symptom of, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing what everyone says. But the second part was, I remember this conversation so clearly. I had been in my role for about 3 years. And on the third year, I was expecting that I was going to get promoted. I was like, it was the day that we would find out about our performance evaluations. And I was sitting there ready and saying, well, you know, it's been 3 years and I should be a senior project manager this time. And we sit down and he gives me the review and doesn't tell me that I'm promoted. And I was like, but I thought, you know, it's been 3 years. I've executed on all these projects. I've worked on high profile ones. And he's like, I didn't even know you wanted the senior promotion. And
Wow.
I was like, what? What do you mean? He's like, is this the job that you even really want? And I was like, what? And
So,
he,
what was the deep growth lesson there?
oh my God, I thought that he was supposed to help me get there. I thought it was up to my manager to help me decide my future.
So, this ownership, leadership, listening to yourself. And now I'm hearing and you freaking speak it out loud
Yes.
often.
Yes.
You ask for what you want over and over.
Yes. And if you don't know what you want, which is where everyone starts, commit to figuring it out.
Have a plan to figure it out. Don't just wait for it to dawn on you, from above.
There were so many things wrong with that moment too, because, you know, it was the day that they were releasing performance reviews. So I hadn't even talked with my manager 6 months before, letting him know my goals, what I wanted or anything like that. I just assumed like there were just so many young, naive thoughts in my head. But that was the hard mistake number one, which is if you do not make a plan for yourself, someone else will decide your career for you. And from that moment on, I was like, I will never let this happen again, ever.
I'll never delegate the leadership of my career to somebody else.
I own this. Yeah.
So, Kelly, here you are on the mountaintop with all of those pieces, the self compassion, the conviction, the leadership and owning your value and owning the path of your career. All of these elements that you've come to, and you're at the top of the mountain now, in the new job with the big promotion, all of those things, and it's time to focus and deliver. Are the skills that we've just gone over, or the pieces of you that got you here, are those enough to get you to the next mountain? Or where possibly are the growth areas that catapult you to the next level even?
Yeah, I think I'm at the point of just needing to execute. I've done everything. I've manifested, I've put in the work, and now I just need to put my money where my mouth is and execute. And I know what I need to do that's in front of me. And I think it's, again, about practicing a lot of relinquishing of inner critics and telling myself, I can do this, I can do this. And then just going out and executing.
If you execute beautifully now and you have your focus and you keep pivoting and adjusting and bringing yourself back, to center point and grounded, where do you want to be 5 years from now?
Mm, I used to think it was about getting a title. I want to be VP, and you've helped me unravel a lot of that. And I think the big part is just impact. Instead of saying I want to be leading a team that fills this quota, I want to be making an impact on my customers and on my team and helping them. And no matter how that looks, I know, as a part of, I guess, paying it forward, there's been a lot of mentors and women that have helped me get to where I am. And I will always want to give back, and specifically for women and people of color entering the tech space. It's a kind of a sweet spot for me that I want to always be doing that in some way, whether it's mentoring or volunteering or giving talks, things like that. So I know that I will need to be continuing to do that because that fills my buckets back up.
It fills your buckets, but Kelly, also, it clearly is one of your purposes on the planet.
Thank you. Yeah, it is like I said, it's a sweet spot slash niche for me where I know that there is so much of a need for this. And I have gone through it myself and I could speak to a lot of it. And I want to help more. I want to make tech a more inclusive place while also, being a badass female solutions engineer, paving the way for more, being one of the best.
Yeah, being the best, one of the best. And that it's not, oh, she does all this great work over there. And she happens to also be a solutions engineer. It's like,
Yes.
yes, feel that conviction right now. Badass. So I want you to look out to that next mountain, however many years in the future, and see that possibility field. See all the women, all the women in the years already who you've impacted, but the ones that are coming. See your customers, see the clients. I want you to, even if you close your eyes, and imagine and feel the impact that you are now growing into. This is you, Kelly. And how does that future, that vision and feeling it right now, how does that play into focus and execution today?
Focus and execution seems kind of small.
So maybe we right-sized that as well, is you've got this. Of course you're going to focus and execute beautifully. That's what you do. So that there can be joy with it right from the get-go, right from the first weeks, not stress, not worrying, not second guessing. Imagine your impact this month if that's the focus and execution that you're coming out of the gate with.
hmm hmm
So I don't know if there's anything there. That was what was rolling into my brain.
Yeah, no, it's helpful. It's kind of like focusing on the end goal versus the actual task in hand, like why that plays to a bigger picture. What is the bigger picture, and connecting to that bigger picture so that it doesn't seem like a small, meaningless task. It's actually playing a big part in the role of the big impact that I want to have in the end.
Cool. Kelly and I went on to design some homework, to buy something really special to celebrate her big new job, to write down her lessons learned, the essence of her next level self, and keep them right where she can see them every day, and to buy a congratulations card, write a great message, and mail it to herself. I love that one. And now look at where we ended up. How the celebration and reflection upon achieving a milestone literally feeds the process of focus and execution. The ability to deliver from this new lofty level. Also, how powerful it is to lift your gaze to your next goal so that you can see your bigger purpose and move forward with joy, ease, fully engaged. Letting go of any doubts and inner critics. I want you to picture it flowing beautifully with your purpose, not just head down, toiling away, nervous about whether you can pull it all off. I also want to highlight the insight about the role of self-compassion, the permission and reframing the inevitable mistakes or setbacks, creating a healthy space for you to grow. And this business about being connected to yourself, tuned in so you can know and ask for what you want in life. Remember, it was about career for Kelly, but this can be for any area in your life. Leading your marriage or relationship, your finances, health, learning, even just how you want to manage your time and spend your day. Overall, notice what insights struck you. Jot them down. Grab the ideas and actions that were meant for you today. So, bottom line, I challenge you to never delegate leadership of your life and dreams to someone else. Own your future right now. I challenge you to book time with yourself every week to stay connected to what you want, time for pleasing yourself. And I challenge you to pick an achievement, big or small, and celebrate. Leveling up always necessitates stretching yourself, projecting more of you, reaching higher. Just remember to take the time to catch up to this next level self. Make the surreal real. A moment of integration, taking it all in, nodding your head, yep, this is me. Gosh, I would love to partner and help you celebrate, whether it's via one-on-one private coaching or joining one of my coaching groups. Go to thegrowthmoment.com to connect with me, and remember to share the podcast with people you believe in. Now get out there and grow today.